Hi, Emma.
Hi, Mindy.
Here we are again.
Well,
Um, so, uh, Today we're going to talk about exercise being more than just the physical.
yeah, I think that you know, physical and mental well-being go absolutely hand in hand. But when people think of the physical, they automatically think about physical shape, changing shape, dieting, weight loss, and it's more than that. The physical actual process of movement affects your well-being and your brain in perhaps more ways than you think. So we've talked a while ago about and everybody has, about finding time in the day for movement, finding time in the day to do something active. It has to be something that you enjoy, otherwise you won't do it. And it has to be something that you feel is achievable. So don't think you have to go for your hour's walk. If you went for 10 minutes walk, that's better than nothing. Don't think that you have to go for your 6 mile run. If you went for a 2 mile run and walked one of it, it's better than nothing. The pressure that we put on ourselves can take away the pleasure for what we're doing, and doing a stressful activity on a body that's already stressed isn't necessarily always going to be helpful. So it's about working out what to do and when to do it, but you do need to do something daily. That is just should be a law. But it has to be something you can do. But break things down, break it down into 3 10-minute chunks, break it down into 6 5-minute chunks, but try and do something for 30 minutes. And whether that's something that you put in the exercise category or whether it's something you put in the hobby category, it doesn't really matter. But I think that in this period of time where and time's a big one, because it's the first thing that people will tell me they haven't got when they're not, oh, I haven't got time to exercise. And now all of a sudden perhaps we've got more time, or we're supposed to have more time, and people are telling us, well, why haven't you got more time? And actually we haven't. Or maybe you've got so much time that you've lost structure in your day and you stopped trying to have a structure, because we're not punctuated by the same start and finishes in our day. But I think that's because we're not actually punctuated by when this will end. And so it's very easy to get out of a habit, get out of structure and routine, or put things off, and kind of you feel like you've got so much time maybe that I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. But it's important to make sure that you've got something to look forward to, and that you're not using food as that reward or exercise as your punishment, that you eat for nourishment and for fuel and enjoyment, and that you're exercising for your health and well-being. So now's the time to explore all sorts of avenues of health and fitness and well-being that perhaps weren't available to you before, that you perhaps never thought of, that perhaps you have to, because that's all we've got. There has been some research done by a brain surgeon who has studied that when we move, we release a chemical in our brain, and this is, we might have heard of serotonin, and we might have heard of the happy hormones and the endorphins. It's not that. It's actually another chemical that's almost like a super fertilizer, that actually sprays our brain like a super fertilizer would a crop, that allows those brain neurons to be ignited and keep living, and to not get sluggish and to not die off. And that happens the moment that we stand up. So we've almost got our little own pharmacy in our brain. And I think that all of our biggest fear, and this is another research that's been done, is our biggest fear now is that kind of overrides cancer, is dementia and Alzheimer's and losing our brain function. And just that process of standing up, of moving, releases this super chemical, this own fertilizer, this that you can kind of feed your brain with. So it's not just your daily steps. It is a combination of movement and getting yourself to a place where you're getting a little bit breathless, so that the vessels and all those kind of pathways that get blood and oxygen to your brain are kept healthy and at full capacity, along with your lung capacity, and so that you are reducing your risks of all those things that we willy-nilly say: stroke, heart disease, vascular dementia, type 2 diabetes. And what's really important in terms of this process of movement, a combination of resistance and aerobic activity, is that this chemical that gets released into our brain is also responsible for our emotional regulation. So that's when it comes into our sense of well-being. So perhaps our thought processes, our anxiety, our stress, our behavior, are things that trigger us. So movement is definitely more than, you know, what outfit you want to wear to a certain event or how you want to look on a beach, for sure. And I think as soon as we start realizing that, then you start to do it because you want to do it, and it then you find ways to stay active, not just to offset what you've eaten.
Yeah, it's really critical, isn't it? When you think about it in the sense of it's your brain neurons and
brain health. It starts up here. Everything's too hardwired. Everything's too interconnected.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Emma.
You're welcome.